Hi, my name is Brock Wilson, and today I want to talk to you about some of the really unique wildlife that can be found throughout the world. Now, I don't want to just talk about things that are interesting to me, but I also want to highlight ways in which mankind has unfortunately negatively affected the populations of these species. And I'll additionally talk about how we're now trying to help them recover. I'll talk about four animals: the Saiga antelope, the Chinese giant salamander, the large-toothed sawfish, and the Bonamata turtle. I'll start off with the Saiga antelope, which is best known for that crazy nose that you can see right there. And that's used to help filter in dust that they breathe in really arid locations. And it additionally warms up air, cold air that they intake when it's really kind of frigid outside. And that's really important because they can be found in areas like Mongolia, in Russia, and in some of the stands. Now, according to the Central Asian Mammals Initiative, the population of these animals in the 1990s just plummeted off a cliff. It fell from 1.5 million to 50,000 really, really quickly in the span of like a decade because of a lot of poaching for their horns happening. And then additionally, they started seeing a lot more competition with livestock with farmers, which in turn led to kind of diseases kind of running rampant through the population. Now, this is an example of a actually really successful conservation story where we kind of saw that these animals were struggling and the nations took action. Anti-poaching measures were put in place. Sanctuaries for these animals were made where they could breed and reproduce freely. And lastly, scientists began taking consistent surveys of these animals, making sure populations were healthy and things like that. And this has caused the population to grow back really, really quickly, which has been really cool. And now the IUCN Red List reports that around 950,000 Saiga antelope now live throughout the world. And that's like a huge, obviously, improvement for them being critically endangered, and now they're only considered to be near threatened. Next, I want to talk about the large-toothed sawfish, which is actually a type of ray that can grow up to 20 feet long. These things can be huge, and they're obviously best known for this crazy kind of snout that you can see here. It's called a rostrum. It has little teeth that are kind of dotted alongside it. And it's actually not used to like slice people in half or anything like that. It's just used to kind of like stir up the surface bottom floor of wherever they're swimming around in to kind of flush out small prey and things like that. Now these animals are actually kind of found everywhere. They were found in the Pacific Ocean, in the Indian Ocean, in the Atlantic Ocean, on coasts everywhere. They can be found in freshwater and in saltwater. But unfortunately, they're an example of how fishing can really, really negatively affect populations. Because they're so unique, they sell for lots of money on underground markets, which have led them to be really, really overfished wherever they can be found. And even when people aren't trying to fish them up, they can get caught in nets really easily because of the rostrum. They can be caught in nets and fishing gear and fishing lines, things like that, which can cause them to die anyway. And conservation efforts have kind of been tried, like education programs have been put in place. There's rules that make fishing for these rays illegal, but because they're so widespread and because they can be found in a lot of locations where things can't be really highly regulated, their population is really, really low right now. They're considered to be critically endangered, and they're at risk of extinction unless a really, really targeted approach is made. Next, I want to talk about the Chinese giant salamander, which is yet another example of how the food trade, how farming can really, really negatively affect animals. This animal, despite what it looks like, it can grow to be up to 6 feet in length. It's found in, according to the San Diego Zoo Wildlife Alliance, it's pretty much fully aquatic. It's found in streams and rivers, usually at the bottom, and they kind of, they're able to breathe, take in oxygen just through their skin, and that's how they survive and stay alive. stay alive, and then obviously they hunt small prey and things like that. These are considered a delicacy in a lot of places. They can sell for, their meat sells for a lot of money in China, obviously where they're found, and they're additionally used a lot in traditional medicine. And this has caused their populations to just completely plummet, which is really bad because people will literally poison streams and stuff to kind of kill these, to be able to kill these off and find them and stuff like that. And then additionally, farms have been made for these salamanders, which you'd think would be good because there's a lot of them breeding at the same time, but has actually led them to be hybridized with a relative, the Japanese giant salamander, which has really hurt their population. This is another animal that there's reintroduction efforts that are being made where they'll release them in the wild, but there's not much effort made after that to keep up with them, which unfortunately has led to them just kind of to keep dying off even with reintroduction efforts. They're also critically endangered right now. Lastly, I want to talk about the Mata Mata turtle, which is super duper unique. It has a really crazy look. It's found in South America. And I wanted to highlight this turtle because it has problems. Like it can be hunted for meat. The exotic pet trade is really bad for it because of its really unique look. If you saw, they have a really like unique nose right here, and it's used like a snorkel to like stick out of the water. And then additionally, habitat loss has also hurt them. But even though they're super, super cool, they're actually pretty big. They can grow up to 1.5 feet in length. There's no like surveys for them whatsoever. Like the only thing I found for them is on the Smithsonian's National Zoo and Conservation Biology Institute website. There's no like official studies that have been made to help them. So I wanted to just kind of talk about that to show like there's a lot of animals that really haven't been even surveyed to see if there's a problem yet, which is not great.